Hi, I'm Melinda Van Fleet, and welcome to the Confident Conversations podcast. I'm a confidence and peak performance coach, best-selling author, and speaker who helps businesswomen develop confidence to believe in themselves, take action, and get results. This podcast shares authentic and transparent, thought-provoking stories, tips, and tools from my experiences, as well as incredible guests, so you can continue to build your confidence and live your best life. Thank you for joining me. Let's get started on this confidence journey. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's Confident Conversations podcast, and thank you in advance for joining me. I really appreciate it. This week, I wanted to share a story that circles back to last week's episode, which is episode 97. It's an amazing conversation with Marian Gellitley, who is a certified image master, and she's the founder of Powerful Presence. And what happened when I was doing a little preparation for the podcast, I was looking at her website, and I noticed a quote that she had on her website, which brought back a memory and, quite frankly, a trigger for me. And I didn't bring it up last week on her podcast because I wanted that podcast to be all about her. And I felt that I could address this and share this separately in a different podcast, as it relates also to the content creation success strategies program that I am releasing on September 1st, which is super exciting, and I'll talk more about that at the end. It's a 12-week program. So this story that I'm going to share is, again, something from the past, something that's a trigger, and the quote that Marian has on her website that set this whole thing off is, "It doesn't take a lot of money to look fabulous, but it does take a lot of understanding." I'm going to repeat it again so it can sink in. It doesn't take a lot of money to look fabulous, but it does take a lot of understanding. So when I read that quote, I had to take a beat. I had to take some deep breaths, and really go, wow, because here's the scoop. When I was 22, 1996, I moved to New York City, to Manhattan, because I got a job with Saks Fifth Avenue, the Saks Fifth Avenue in Manhattan, in New York City. I was so excited. Oh my gosh, it was my dream come true to move to New York City, to work for Saks Fifth Avenue. So I got a job as a planner. They had a catalog back then called Folio. And it was really hard to hire people at the time that had catalog experience. So catalogs now, there's, hardly any left. But back then it was still really popular because the internet wasn't around. And, but finding planners that had really good experience was tough. So I had been a planner for Spiegel Catalog in Chicago, and they snatched me up when I said that I could move to New York City. So I did. It was probably a few days into working for Saks Fifth Avenue that I got called into my boss's office, and she shut the door. Now, if any of you have been in the corporate world, that feeling of anxiety and pressure when your boss calls you into her office and you have no idea why, his or her office, and you have no idea why, and they shut the door. I'm sure you can imagine that feeling. I can feel it right now because I was 16 years in the corporate world. Whenever that happens, that's normally not a great thing, right? So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm brand new. What the heck? Why am I getting called into my boss's office and the door is getting shut? I'm brand new. So she shuts the door and she looks at me. And her name was Janelle, and she was lovely, very lovely. And she looks at me, and she looks at me up and down. And she goes, "Your outfit is not appropriate for Saks Fifth Avenue." It took all of my strength, courage, confidence to not cry. I moved from downtown Chicago. I came from a nice, normal, middle-class family on the South Side. My mom was always put together, my grandma, my great-grandma. I thought I was okay. Did I think I was the top model of New York City? Absolutely not. And I had no money. So I'm like, oh my gosh, is what I'm wearing that bad? Like, really? That bad? Like, I thought I was all right. That bad that I got called into her office and sat down for a talk. So I had to take some deep breaths. And I said, can you please explain? Because I don't know. I'm new here. So after she looks me up and down again, she just starts at the top. And she's like, that turtleneck is not appropriate. So the turtleneck was a striped turtleneck. It was a black ground with red and white stripes, and it was ribbed, and it was from the Limited. So the fact that it wasn't a solid, and the fact that it wasn't cashmere or a wool, it was an acrylic blend, ribbed turtleneck in stripes, was not appropriate. Then she looked at my jumper, and I had a jumper. It was wool. It was, in my opinion, really nice. It was from J. Crew. And at the time, it probably cost about $80, which at the time was expensive on my little budget. And I was really proud of that jumper. I loved the quality, the feel of the wool was really nice. So she was like, well, the wool jumper's okay. So I'm like, okay. Then I had black tights on. So, it's winter, so I guess tights are fine. She didn't really comment on the tights. But then she commented on my shoes. And I had black loafers on. They were brand new, mind you, they were brand new. But they had rubber sole bottoms that had like a gripping, like you could see the grooves, kind of like a lug sole almost. Those shoes are not appropriate. Those shoes are good to walk to work in, but when you hit the elevator, you need to switch to flat-soled shoes with a hard bottom. Wow. Was blown away. And again, it took every ounce of me not to cry. Every ounce. So I went back to my desk and I tried to get grounded and finish my day as professional as I could. And that weekend, I spent going to the stores that she had recommended because I said, what do? I have no money. I just moved here and I don't know where to go, what to shop. So again, she was lovely. I actually really liked her. We got along really well. So this was just kind of a weird thing when I started. And she suggested, Century 21, which at the time was down in the World Trade Center area. This was obviously before 9/11. I think Ross was the name of the discount store that I know there's still Ross. So I'm thinking that was the one that was in Manhattan at the time. TJ Maxx wasn't there, maybe a couple, but it wasn't a big deal. So I listened intently to what she said. And she's like, it doesn't matter how much clothes you have. What matters is the quality working here. So it's better to have one nice cashmere sweater and wear that once a week, and one nice pair of heels and one nice pair of loafers, and you wear those every day. And if you need to get them resold, you get them resold. But it's quality over quantity. She explained about the rib knit, that was cheap, unsophisticated, and I needed to have more wovens in my wardrobe. So woven blouses, woven pants, suits, get one nice black suit, one nice navy suit, and just some different tops underneath that you can coordinate and freshen up. I was a sponge. I listened so intensely. For my birthday, for any holiday, I was like, I'll take a cashmere sweater. Now I have a lot of cashmere sweaters and I live in the Keys. But I listened intently. I was a sponge. And I started every time I had free time, just going to Macy's and looking at the sale racks, there's a J.C. Penney's nearby by the train center that takes you to, I forget the name of the little island that's south of Manhattan, but there was a J.C. Penney's in there way back when, and looking at their sale section and just really fine-tuning my wardrobe over time. If I had an extra $20, an extra $30, an extra $50, and then I saved money to buy a pair of Gucci loafers, black loafers with a square toe and a silver horse bit, and a pair of Gucci heels, and they were like a taupe color with like a snakeskin print, like a faint. It was just like a little bit of a pattern, but very neutral. And that's what I wore. I wore my rubber-soled loafers walking to and from work because I lived on 36th and 9th, and Saks Avenue is up by Rockefeller. And I walked to work for the most part because the subway didn't really make sense. And I wore them back and forth, and I resold those shoes whenever I needed to, because then I had to wear those walking to my market appointments. So I would walk into a vendor and look Saks Avenue-ish. And I still have those black Gucci loafers with the silver horse bit in my closet. I will never, ever, ever get rid of them. Ever. They will get cremated with me someday, because that is how impactful this situation was on my life. It changed how I view my clothing. It changed how I dress. And it changed how I even look at a striped top. And what happened yesterday was, when I was packing to go away to the Worldwide Metaphysical Tribe event and to see that event for business, I found a striped top in my closet that I've never worn because I couldn't get over this trigger. So I think I bought that top at like a TJ Maxx or something. It's a cute top. There's nothing wrong with it. And if you like stripes out there, there's nothing wrong with stripes. It's just my trigger from what happened to me at 22 years old that ended up happening for me, because now I can share this story and help others. Hence, content. Content. Our stories in life help others. They help others. So if you can get through the pain, if you can sit with it, if you can breathe, you can give it time. Heck, I'm 50. This was when I was 22. 28 years later, I still have those fucking Gucci loafers in my closet. I'll take a picture and put them in my stories or something. And they're stories. It's content to help others. So my content creation course is designed to help you get to a place where you can easily create content, especially if you're an online entrepreneur, a speaker, a coach, a network marketer, and you're going to have fun in the process and make money. Making money is fun. Money is energy, and we all love to grow our business and sales. So it is 12 weeks, 6 modules, 6 open coaching forums, office hours, however you want to call it. I've heard it called many different things out there, but those are great, where you can come and ask questions. You can ask me anything in relation to the program and learn from others too. It's always such a great experience. And then of course there'll be a Facebook group for in between. So I am super excited about this program. I have journals and notes and oh my goodness, so many things from being in this space for over 10 years, starting a small business with my husband. If you have listened to any of these podcasts in the past or listened to the Good Karma Success Coach podcast, you know a lot of our journey and our story. And again, all of those lessons are for us, so we can learn and grow together, and I love sharing them and helping others. So check out the link, and I am really, really looking forward to seeing you in the program. Thank you for listening, and until next time, I hope this podcast helps build your confidence. Thanks.